Hey guys, it's Monday. Starting out the week with 3 hours zone. Starting out the rest week with 3 hours zone 2 on the bike. Getting out for this ride. It's a nice day for it. I mean, it's cold, windy. We had a huge amount of rain yesterday, so it's going to be wet out on the roads. But layered up nicely, so should be absolutely fine for it. And yeah, haven't been out in a while, and yeah, make this more of a habit. Easing back into training now. We're taking this week easy, and then easing back into things next week. But yeah, it'd be good to get out a bit more, and yeah. Well, I fixed the bike up after breaking the gear cable last time I was out. We'll see if it holds up. Should be absolutely fine for the next year or whatever. Dylan Johnson approved. Very nice ride that. Yeah, cold, a little bit cold and pretty windy, but I mean it's always windy out in the peak. I'm used to it. But yeah, really. I mean, some sections of roads were really wet, but it was, for the most part, it was actually pretty dry. A little bit mucky, but probably a lot better than it has been because we had so much rain last night, and that would have just like cleared all the grit and muck off the roads, which was the issue when I got out a week and a bit ago, when I got the puncture. So yeah, that was really nice actually. Hopefully it stays a bit more like this. Nice blue skies, like low chance of rain. Like if you get some rain, it's a little light shower of rain. Yeah, he's on the rebound. Off-season rebound part 2. Yeah, kind of had an off-season heart rate for that, like pretty high for it, but it's quite high last time I got out for a ride. I don't know, it is what it is. I just ride to feel, and I feel good, feel fine, not pushing. I know I'm not pushing too hard, like I'm not pushing over 300 watts, I tell you that. Like I'm in that, the average for my ride, even though I've not got a power meter, I know that average for the ride will be somewhere between 220 and 260. Like it's not going to be higher than that. I know intuitively like what that feels like. Core sensor was cracked. It was freaking out. It was giving me some ridiculously high values. But again, like I know intuitively to a bike. Okay, how am I actually feeling? Oh yeah, my core temperature is not that high, and it like spiked really high to start off with, and that's just the nature of the algorithm. I think it just like overshot it basically, and then it did stabilize to like 38.2, which is my standard endurance core temperature. So yeah, all good stuff. Been zoomed in on my face like that. Oh god. Whoa. Hey guys, it's Tuesday on the TT bike for a TT tempo session today, and since it's my rest week, it's a significantly easier session. Last week I did 3 by 30 minutes with 15-minute rest. Today, because it's my rest week, I got 4 by 15 minutes with probably do 10-minute rest. Keep it nice and high. Yeah, 60 minutes of work compared to 90 minutes of work last week, so yeah, nice easy one. And yeah, just getting used to the position a bit more. Done my warm-up, feel alright. It's quite warm, humid, really wet outside. Yeah, crack on, see how it goes. See if we get some bonkers readings from the core sensor again. Probably not. I get like stupidly warm inside and the core's like, nah mate, 38.2, and then I'm absolutely fine, properly cooled outdoors, it's like 39 degrees. Yeah, it's a weird one, so don't read into it too much. There we go, nice little session there. Make sure I don't get carried away and like, oh I feel good, because they're short tempo efforts, like they're half the length of the ones I did last week. So power was a bit higher, but making sure I'm keeping it under control and not getting carried away, like I say. Still getting a good leg burn in the TT position, and having a sweat on. Core sensor's not responding to the session, which either means my cooling's good or it's just not reacting. Good session that. Spin out for another 40 minutes. Probably 325, 330 average for those 4 efforts. Right, 3 hours total. Happy with that. Hop off now. wide ass new saddle. With the current saddle, with my sit bones being like 11 centimeters apart, I effectively have to sit like kind of here, so really far backwards in the saddle. So there's a huge amount of saddle sticking forward. Whereas with this new saddle, I should be able to sit on my sit bones kind of where this little dash is, like I think that's effectively in the center of the saddle. So I'm like planted in the center of the saddle, and there's so much less nose sticking out. And the reason that's significant is because I'm sitting on my bike to be UCI legal, and depending on what you do at the front, for the most case, you kind of want your saddle 5 centimeters behind the bottom bracket, with where I'd want to be sat in the saddle effectively coming a lot further forward. So coming from here to here, it just gives you that leeway to make the saddles equivalent. I'd basically put this further back on the rails, and I'm well behind the bottom bracket. But then if I want to become more over the bottom bracket, I can move the saddle forward again. So if I set the saddle up like this on my sit bones again, I'd effectively be like 4 centimeters further forward than I used to be. Gives a lot more leeway. So yeah, be interesting to try this out. So yeah, like I say, my sit bones are around this central mark here with the little dash. Just overlay the old saddle, like the amount that I'd have to scooch it forward to have my sit bones in alignment. So like my sit bones are in the same place. So on this saddle they're here, and they're in the same place on the other saddle. It's so much further forward. Like that's how much further forward effectively the saddle would have to be. So I've effectively moved it like this 4 odd centimeters behind the bottom bracket. Nature of the rails, I wasn't able to match it up exactly. I wasn't able to match it up like tip to tip. It had to be, old saddle would have been like 1 centimeter further forward, so like that. But yeah, it's significantly further behind the bottom brackets. If I sit on my sit bones, and hopefully it's more comfortable, and if I do end up slipping forward, it's a lot more sustainable. But hopefully I don't slip forward because I'm further forward over the bottom bracket. But yeah, feels comfortable, so do my recovery ride now and see how it is. Hey guys, it's Thursday. On the bike for a session today. It's a deload week, so it's quite an easy session. I've done my warm-up with 7 max heated sprints. Got a bit of dullness in my left leg, but sprints look good. Probably the best peak power numbers I've seen in the past month or so. And I was thinking about like correlating fatigue with peak power numbers, and it looks like that power number's coming back to where it should be. So that's good. Rest is doing me good. Yeah, so now I've got 2 test efforts, got a 20-second and a 30-second max sprint. Just see how they go really. And then I'll be doing some torque work. Just trying to do like a bit of an easy session. Lower volume, so like 3x3 minutes at 95 Newton meters, where I almost did 6x3 minutes a few weeks back. Like my last good session was around 6x3 minutes. So I do half that, 3x3 minutes, and just see how they feel really. Spin now, get the heart rate up as I get nervous before the effort, and then give it a good whack. Obviously got better cooling today with the shaved head. Yeah, hair was just getting too long, so could have gone to the hairdresser like a normal person, or you know, go in the kitchen and you know what time it is. Sit down time. Whew. Yeah, those efforts were decent. Can't complain with those. Tried really hard. Slipping off the slipping off the front of the saddle by the end of the efforts. Yeah, quad's just like giving up on me. But yeah, they're decent. See what the numbers look like. Hopefully like 950, 900 sort of thing I did 4 weeks ago. And that'll just be a good sign that giving myself this rest for the past week or so has when we bounce back, get the fatigue out of the system, and then you can just start building again. But yeah, need to sit down. Probably ought to go for a run. I need to test something with my knee, see if it like collapses on me, because I'm feeling like I used to have a pinched nerve in my like lower left back a couple of years ago, 2 and a bit years ago, and I'm suspecting that might be back, but it's my like I don't know if my like the knee's feeling a bit weird just because I'm overthinking that, and I'm thinking, oh, that's where I used to have symptoms when I had the pinched nerve before. Maybe they're going to develop again. But it's hard to tell on the bike because when I had it 2 and a bit years ago, I was kind of fine to keep going on the bike. It didn't really affect me much, but if it's there, then it's obviously going to be affecting how much power I can produce on the bike. So have a think about that and see if I can get it checked out at the physio. There we go, session done. Done my 3x3 minutes at around 95 Newton meters, maybe a bit lower, higher cadence than that. Happy with that. It was hard work, but they always are. But felt within myself, which is good. Could have probably done 5x3 minutes, maybe not 6x3, but you know, haven't got a good session done in like 2 weeks or so. So yeah, happy to get that under the belt, and then got a bigger session next week. Try and do 6x6 or 7x3 minutes. Tap away for another hour now. Woo. Feeling nice on the pedals. There we go, 3 hours. Hop off now, happy with that. Changing things around slightly for the gym session. So these cast iron plates, they're not nearly, the diameter is not nearly the same as like a standard Olympic bumper plate. It's quite a bit smaller. I have these slightly bigger ones that I keep on the interior. I measured the radius to be 17.5 centimeters, whereas a classical bumper plate would be 22.5, so it's 5 centimeters less for the radius, that is. And so what I'm using is these other plates that I've got, these cheaper, just don't use them for actual lifting, but I use them to raise up the bar for hip thrusts. So if I use one of them, the bar is essentially the same height off the ground as if I had bumper plates on the bar. So I'll do that for snatch grip deadlifts, rather than like the extended range of motion that I was doing before. It's a nicer platform to drop down on. Don't want to drop down onto the concrete floor, drop down onto these plates instead, and then I'll do the same for hip thrust. So more range of motion on the hip thrust, less on the snatch grip deadlifts, but it'll be more relevant for if I do return to trying to snatch again. Hey guys, it's Friday on the TT bike just for 2 hours zone 2 today. Now the weather's not too bad, but so I was really planning on getting out, but to be honest, with it being my rest week and I'm only getting out for 2 hours, it's like wet enough and dirty enough out there that I'd have to clean the bike when I get back. I'm pretty anal about cleaning the bike. I'd have to like pretty much clean the drivetrain, re-wax it, and it would take me like 45 minutes. And for a 2 hour ride, it's almost half the length of the ride. Plus I'm getting out with a mate tomorrow, Zach, so getting out for 2 hours there, and I'll have to clean the bike after that as well. So 4 hours of riding, 1.5 hours of bike cleaning. I'd rather just do 2 hours indoors today, 2 hours outdoors tomorrow, and then man up, clean the bike. But yeah, also with the new saddle, it's like spending some time in the TT position and seeing what the saddle feels like. Did my recovery ride on it a couple of days ago, but couldn't really tell much from that. But spending some bigger stints in TT position, and I think it'll be really telling on Wednesday when I have a TT tempo session to see how that feels. But for the most part, it's feeling good. I'd say it's better than the other saddle already. I'm apprehensive to be like, okay, no numbness, no issues with sit bones, because it's still way too early doors to say that. I feel more planted on the saddle, feel planted on the sit bones, more comfortable on the sit bones, and it's got me a lot more further forward in the saddle, without having to actually move the saddle further forward. Tip of the saddle isn't any more closer to the bottom bracket, but I'm actually further in the saddle, so I'm more over the bottom bracket. Also trying around something with the cleats, so with the speed play cleats, moving the cleat really as far forward as possible, as far backwards as possible. So I've essentially pulled the cleat 6 mil further back, so my toe's like 6 mil further forward than it was. Further forward, I've brought myself with a new saddle. It's not like a crazy jump. And yeah, feeling good. Might help the pedal stroke. Feel really activated in my hamstrings today, but that just might be DOMS from the gym yesterday. Normally how it goes. Feels good so far, so continue playing around with it and deciding if this is a route I want to go down. Nice ride with Zach, that. Just a little one from me, 2 hours. He was doing 5 hours, doing a proper ride, whereas I was just getting out for a short spin. Yeah, but it was nice, good ride. Numbness in the left leg, and I feel like this might be a returning injury from 2 and a bit years ago, where I had a pinched nerve in my lower back. So got a recovery ride tomorrow. So I'm gonna have a look at the rehab exercise I was doing this time 2 and a bit years ago to try and sort that out. But I remember with that injury, I just had to have the physio like properly do some work in my lower back, and that was what fixed it. Yeah, I had like multiple sessions with him, and he was just like doing stuff in my knee, and it's where I'd have symptoms, but it's like that wasn't solving the issue. It just needed to get involved in my back. It might be something completely different, but I think I'll probably get booked into the physio to see if they can sort me out. Planning on another easy 15-hour week next week, so I've got a bit more intensity. I've got two talk sprint sessions, a tempo session and a heat session. But yeah, I'll just play them by ear, see how I do with my leg, or my back, and yeah, I can still ride the bike, but might be a lower intensity, low volume sort of thing. He is just the king of cross, isn't he? Out of this world. On another planet. He goes in for the bike change on the final lap just so he can post up with a cleaner bike at the finish. Imagine being that good. That's insane. This is a 1 hour recovery spin on the turbo. Continuing to feel how the saddle is. And yeah, all good so far. Did mention some numbness in my left leg yesterday after the ride, and yeah, I think an injury from a bit over 2 years ago has kind of reared its head again. Probably laying dormant for 2 years. When I developed the injury, like October 2022, I don't think it just came on all of a sudden. I think it was like quite a long time in the making. Even though it got treated and symptoms went away, I think it's still been in the background for the past 2 years. Started doing some nerve glide exercises. Those were the sort of things I was doing last year, and they're helping. And certain rehab exercises I do, prehab exercises I do already, seem to help as well. Like targeting the psoas, that's good. Keep on top of those, but I'll call the physio Monday morning and get myself booked in. See if we can fast track that, because 2 years ago I needed the guy to just work into my lower back. Like that was what he needed to do to really sort it out. The exercise he gave me helped, obviously, but I feel like he could have fast tracked my progress by just going straight into my back rather than doing what he did for like 5 sessions. But oh well, the physio I'll be booking in for, I've been to him before and I trust him a lot more, so I'll see what he thinks, and if he thinks it's the same thing that I do with a pinched common peroneal nerve, and if that is the case, then maybe he's able to really get it to a much better state quicker by doing specific work on my lower back. But we'll see. I'll get booked in. Still able to ride. Like when I developed the injury 2 years ago, I had to take some time off running and gradually reintroduce that, but I was able to ride instead. So still able to ride and gym, and it's kind of like just appreciating I'm going to be less efficient, less power from that left leg, but I'm still able to ride, still able to keep training. I'll keep going as planned. Might have to ease off the gas a little bit more, but you know, I should still be able to keep training, get some good hours in, and yeah, can't complain with that really. And then hopefully get this injury sorted in the next month or so, and then be even stronger still. If this injury's been dormant for the last 2 years, then maybe that's why I don't produce as much power through my left leg. So it could be free gains if I can properly get it sorted.